Hi, my name is Petra. I'd like to welcome you to Petra's Happy Place. Behind the camera once again is Mr. Happy. Say hello.
Hello.
Today I want to thank all of you new subscribers and thank you for my tried and true subscribers that have been with me all of this 6 days now. I'm so excited because right now I am so close to hitting the 100 mark, the 100 subscriber mark. What I'd like to ask of you is just share this video with all of your friends. Please like, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so and hit that notification bell that you'll be notified of all of my future videos. Once I hit my 100 mark, I'm going to do a short video because I want to give a giveaway. I want to do a giveaway to say thank you for all of you who have subscribed. But at that time, during that short video, I will tell you all of the different things that I'll be putting in the giveaway box, and I will also. Mr. Happy is distracting me with the little stuffed cats behind the camera. I want to show you what is going to be in the giveaway box, and I'd like to also ask a question of you that you can put in the comment box so that you will be registered for that giveaway. Today I'd like to also talk about different hook sizes and what you can do, how you can find the right one just for you. That is going to be important for later on, especially if you are a new crocheter. Having a hook is the biggest part, or one of the biggest part other than the yarn, of your arsenal of tools. But first I'd like to talk to you about some of my works in progress. I have a couple of them. One of them I had shown before, and it is this. I have named it an infinity cowl. Somebody had made the suggestion I make it a cowl, but to me it's almost long enough so that a very thin person or someone with a very small head and neck could actually wrap it around twice to make it an infinity scarf. So what I think I'm going to name this is my infinity cowl. Who knows, I might be onto something new here, but all I have to do is just sew it together and this one will be ready to go. So that's still considered my work in progress. My next work in progress is something that's going to be going on for still. It's going to be a continual project. Y'all, I have to tell you, this is a difficult thing for me to do because I have so many things that I want to do. This is one of them that I want to do, but granny squares is not necessarily my favorite thing. But this Crochet for a Cause is asking for donations of granny squares to fit a certain dimension, and there's a certain pattern that you're supposed to use for these squares. So I'm having to actually discipline myself to make a granny square or two every day before I get started on any of my other projects. I haven't crocheted today because I haven't had this with me, but I am still working on them. I've got this many I'm going to send off, and I'd like to get about a dozen more to put all together so that I can send it off this week. Now, my third work in progress is something that I chose the winner of. I think I showed you what I was working on. It is this top. I've already, let's see here. I've done the front of it. That is the front. I've got a little bit of lacy detail on the bottom, and then I've got the top done. It will fit like so. And then I'm going to do the back in just one panel without any cutout here at the neck. I've got this done, and I have this much of the back. So I will finish this sometime this week. And I'm not sure, I have not decided yet if I'm going to put some sleeves on it or not, some short sleeves. The problem with that is that it's an acrylic yarn, and it's not as breathable as a cotton yarn, and it's going to be very warm in the summer months. I'm thinking if I put a short sleeve on it or a bell sleeve of some kind, I should be able to wear it in the fall and even in the winter over top of a turtleneck or even a collared button-down shirt. So I wanted to show you something else. I was wearing in one of my videos, I was wearing a blue camo top, but that was the second project I had made. The first project I had ever crocheted for myself is this top. Now I'm going to stand up so you can get the full look of it. See that? So here is the bottom of it, and it's a beautiful little pattern using some shells and some front post crochet and then a nice little border. But basically it's so simple, it's just a matter of you start here at the top and you're working your way down, and you do the same to the back. In fact, it's in a round. You're going to be doing it all in a round, and then you just add the shoulder straps. Now I wanted to show you the pattern, and I will link the pattern in the description box below. It is a free pattern. It's called the wide strap tank top, and it has the picture of it here, and then all the directions. All the directions are on here, and you can make, if you print it out yourself, you can make your own little notes. That's what I did. What I like to do, and someone had mentioned it in one of the very first videos I've watched, is when you make a video, when you make a top or any kind of clothing item for yourself, write down on the actual pattern what it is you use. And like I did it right up here, I wrote down what I used the Caron cotton cakes, and I wrote down what hook I used. Okay, so that way I know exactly what I used to make this top, and if I had to make any changes to it, I can always make a little notation on that as well. And I wanted to show you the yarn that I used. I used this Caron cotton cakes, but I used it in a different colorway. This colorway is called, and I don't have it's called Amethyst Sky, but the one I use for this, the one that I'm wearing, is called Hydrangea. So you find this yarn, I found mine at Michael's, and they do have sales on this yarn occasionally, so look for those online, and you can print out a coupon or put it on your phone. Okay, so let's get down to talking about some hooks. Before we do that, I want to do a couple of shout outs. I need to get my glasses on so I can read my notes. I want to give some shout outs because these ladies have really made my week. They have been supporting me all week long and have given me shout outs on their channels, and I have just been so grateful for all their well wishes and their kind words. The first one, her name is Jeanne, and she is the YouTuber on Scraptastic Yarns. Scraptastic Yarns. Now I'm going to leave the links to all these in the description box as well. She is such a sweet lady, and she is just, she also is just beginning her channel, and we're kind of at the same level right now. Also, Sandy from Left is Right Crochet. Y'all, she is a hoot. You are going to love her. She is the funniest gal. She shows a lot of her crochet projects, But she has this little sidekick, Octavia, and Octavia gets into a little trouble now and then, and just so you know, she has her own little journey that Sandy is filming. Also, Madonna Ballard. Madonna is such a sweet lady. She has been following so many different channels. I've seen her name in live feeds. Everybody knows Madonna, and she finally started her own channel, and I'm so happy for her. But since she knows so many people in the crochet community before she even got her own, she has been really helping me out. So we're going to take a quick time out here. We're going to readjust the camera and everything so that I can show you some details about crochet hooks. Okay, so here we have two different hooks. Okay, they are the exact same size, but this one is just a regular aluminum hook, where this one has what they call an ergonomic handle. There are two schools of thought. One says that the lighter the hook, the better. But other people prefer to have a larger ergonomic hook because it's easier for them to hold. I don't know as if that's necessarily true. I mean, yes, it is more ergonomic, but it doesn't mean your crochet experience is going to be that much better just because you can hold the hook better. It is going to depend also on how you hold your hook. There are some people who hold their hook like a pencil. So if they were to be crocheting, now I am not a pencil holder, but I can show you somewhat what it might look like. If they were using a pencil hook like this, they would be using their hook like so. They would be, so their finger can be, it's usually on the side of where the point is here, okay? A knife holder holds their knife like a continental European would hold their knife. So they would do their crocheting, and it looks very different when you're watching them crochet. They hold their hook like so, and they're using more of their wrist instead of their fingers to do the crocheting. Now, there is no right or wrong way to use a hook. It's just what you feel more comfortable with. Those of you who are brand new to crocheting and are not even familiar with holding a hook, just try one of each and see which is more comfortable for you. Whether it's easier to use it as a pencil where you're using your fingers more, or if it's easier using it as a knife. Then, once you've decided which way to hold it, then decide which one is more comfortable in your hand for long periods of time. And that is the key, okay? The key is comfort for duration. Because if you are working, let's say you're making a small dishcloth, and you are just going to be crocheting for maybe 20 minutes. Well, you might find this one more comfortable, okay? Because it's not going to be taxing. But over the long haul, say if you're crocheting for maybe an hour or two, then the smaller one might be more comfortable. Okay, in one of my videos we discussed hooks before, and I told you already the difference between these hooks, but these are the same size. Now, as this one is aluminum, this one is plastic. So, if you're looking at the difference in how you're holding them, This one, it might be a little bit slippery for you, especially if you are using it in the summertime. A lot of people don't like using the plastic because of the way it wears. It might be nice and slick when it comes to when it's cool outside and it just your yarn is sliding on here, but if you're sweating, then it can have a tendency to catch because your fingers get moist and your yarn catches. Then over here, I wanted to show you these 3 hooks. These are all 3 the exact same size hook, yet they are very distinct, distinctly different, that is. This one is a tapered hook. Can you see that, Mr. Happy? Can you see that? Look at this tip right here. You see how it's tapered? It's nice and rounded here on the end. Okay, that is a tapered hook. This hook is an inline hook. You see this? Do you see how it's kind of sharp right here? And this is a little bit more sharp than the end of this one here. Okay, now this one, a lot of people like this kind of tip because their stitches are a little bit tight. If their tension is tight, this hook has a tendency to be able to push through the loop easier because it has a pointed tip. Okay? This one is the same hook except for it has the ergonomic handle. Alright, and it also is a tapered end. Okay, so these, again, you're going to have to try them out to see which one is most comfortable in your hand and which one you feel most comfortable working with. Many people start off with this tapered hook and they love it and they get used to it until they start using this hook and they love it. So it's okay to have a couple of different ones in your tool bag so that you can go to it if you need it. Again, these are all exactly the same, so you could use any one of these hooks. If something called for a 5.5 millimeter in your pattern and you get tired of using one hook, you can use a different hook in the same category of 5.5. Now, recently, I had a friend who asked me a very good question, and she was using a 5.5 millimeter. And my concern was, she said that her work was very loose, and she didn't think it was supposed to be that loose. So I suggested she use a smaller hook. It turned out much better with a smaller hook. So even if the pattern calls for a certain hook size, if your tension is more loose than others, you might have to opt for a different size hook. Okay, so I do not have some of the other materials that these could be made of. These are obviously the aluminum hooks. This is the plastic hook. Now there are also wooden hooks, and they're specially made. There's also bamboo hooks that they're beautiful. Now these wooden hooks, some people love them, some people don't. A lot of the wooden and bamboo hooks are going to be with this head on it. It has that inline tip on it. Let me pull this up again. It has that inline tip on it. That tip, again, is going to be a special, I think, this is just my opinion, I believe that this particular tip is to be used more for those that, those people who have a very tight tension in their work. Okay? Alright, so what I'd like to do is I'm going to use the one hook, the one size hook, and I'm going to do a little bit of crocheting just so that you can see. Now, I'm going to be put on the spot here, and I'm probably going to make a mess of the work, but I just want to show you the obvious differences that I'm feeling anyway. Now, my opinion, if somebody were to ask me my opinion, I will give it. Otherwise, I'm going to keep my mouth shut until somebody else wants to give their own opinion. So here we have, I just made a slip knot, and I'm just going to be doing a chain. Now, most are very familiar with what this is. It's just a regular chain, okay? And I'm just going very slow so that you can see how this hook is working, okay? And maybe where I'm holding my hook and such. So I'm just going to do a basic double crochet. And I know I'm going a little quickly, and I apologize. I just wanted to show you how the hook works, okay? Let me finish up this line, and then I'm going to use a different hook for the next row. And again, like I say, I'm having trouble because I'm nervous, and I generally crochet quite a bit faster than this, but I don't want to lose anybody in this. Alright, so we're coming to the last double crochet into that stitch. Okay, so that was with my tapered hook. Now I'm going to pick up my ergonomic hook. It also is a tapered hook, and I have had to work on this hook because and that's the problem with some of these ergonomic hooks, is that this this rubber part here, some of it is rubber, some other companies use different materials. You will find some special made with polymer clay. This one is rubber. There's also plastic. There's also I don't know, all different kinds of things here. But what happens is, with some of them, when you're using it and you're putting so much pressure on it, back and forth, that the glue inside will come undone. And that is what happened with this hook. It happened, and it made using this hook miserable because I was constantly having to push the rubber back onto the hook. So I glued it, and hopefully that glue will stick for a while. But that's something to be aware of when you're buying a hook, especially off of the rack. Okay, now I don't know what the warranty is with some of those other hooks. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work a different row here, my second row. And like I said, it's the same tip, so it's working fine for me. I'm used to that one. And I would suggest, again, if you have never used different size or different kinds of crochet hooks, give it a try. I know it might be a little bit frustrating because you are feel like you're going to be wasting a lot of time, but think of it more of an investment. You're investing your time in trying to research the different tools. Okay, so that is that hook, and now I'm going to get my inline hook, and I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm just going to do one more round or one more row to show you. Okay, now I have, like I said, I'm going to link, or I may not have said this, I'm going to link a couple of videos, none that I have done, but a couple of videos that I have watched here even this week, that some YouTubers, some wonderful crochet people have actually taken time, and they have a whole lot more hooks to show, and they will show the pros and the cons of different hooks, and that might help you in your decisions of how you want, or in which ones you want to choose. Okay, so as you can see, each one of those is exactly the same. They're all the same size because I use the same size hook. Now, if you want my opinion on which one I like best, my favorite is just the plain old hook. And this one is by the company Boye, B-O-Y-E. There's other hooks by Susan Bates. You can find hooks everywhere. I don't have a necessary preference of where mine is from. As long as it's a nice hook, I'll take it from any place. My second favorite is going to be this hook. Now, if I'm doing a lot of wrist turning, it makes it very, it makes it difficult on my wrist if I'm using this for long periods of time. But for short, small projects, I like using this one. This one is my least favorite because I find when I try to grab my yarn, it gets caught and it slips off. It doesn't catch in that hook very well. So that is my take on all of these hooks. So I've decided, doing a little praying, and I've decided not to do Vlogust anymore. Basically because I want the content to be a little bit more substantial. I like doing those Vlogusts, I like doing those quick videos, but right now I don't have the equipment to make them as good as I want, and it just takes so long to be able to put them out, so I've decided not to do those anymore. I'm also thinking about this week, people, especially the new crocheters in the community, are doing a 10 non-yarny things about me. And I thought, well, I would do that, and I would actually label it as such. So those of you who are interested, feel free to watch that. And if you would rather just watch crochet content, you will know that that's not going to be a video that you want to watch, because it's not going to be anything crochet related. The other thing I was going to do is start asking questions so that you could post your answers in the comments. I would love to know these answers. So for today's video, in the comments section below, I'd like to know, what's in your cup when you crochet? Are you drinking something particular? Is it going to be a hot beverage, cold beverage? Let's keep it clean, people. Let's not know about any kind of alcoholic beverage that you're having at 9 o'clock in the morning. We don't need any of that going on. Also, I'd like to know what's on your hook. Are you actually crocheting anything right now? If you're just practicing, say, I'm just practicing because I'm trying to, I want to work towards making a certain project. If you're actually working on a project, please share with me what it is and maybe where you found it. I love knowing all these. Well, I've already got a list of everything I want to make, and it just keeps growing and growing. But I'd love to know where yours are, what yours are, and where you're getting them from. Okay, there was another thing I wanted to say. Let's see here. Well, I don't remember. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And please, like I said earlier, subscribe and like this video, and let's get 100 subscribers by the end of the weekend. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.